Words. Here now to discuss. Kevin Walling, Democratic strategist, Payton, staff writer for the Federalist. Jeff Sessions, everyone said he didn't have a backbone. He looked pretty stern there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think, this frustration from Trump is nothing new. But what is different this time is that Jeff Sessions has finally had enough of it, and he's decided to bite back with a statement that is very strong to stand up for himself.
But by the same token, Bree, before I get to Kevin, though, would you say that there have been some miscues here? Because I find it interesting that more and more Republicans, moderate Republicans, seem to be coming to the aid, or at least to the side of President Trump, including Lindsey Graham. Let's just take a quick listen to what he had to say today.
Sure.
The president's entitled to attorney general he has faith in, somebody that's qualified for the job. And I think there will come a time, sooner rather than later, where it will be time to have a new face and a fresh voice at the Department of Justice. Clearly, Attorney General Sessions doesn't have the competence of the president, and all I can say is that I have a lot of respect for the Attorney General, but that's an important office in the country, and after the election, I think there will be some serious discussions about a new Attorney General.
How would that impact everything, Bree?
Yeah, I definitely think that politics is always going to be a factor in all of these things. And Jeff Sessions saying, that politics aren't going to taint what the Department of Justice does, I think is nice and good to say that. But at the end of the day, politics are always going to influence what happened. At the end of the day, he's a political appointee and his boss is a political figure, and his job is being held because of the political situation at bay. I definitely think that if there was a big change this November, that we could see a different attorney general sitting at the head there. And, you asked me earlier about whether or not Trump's frustrations are valid. I think definitely so. I mean, if I was in Trump's position, the biggest thing going on in his life right now is this Mueller probe, this ongoing investigation. And his attorney general has decided to step aside and not do a single thing about it over little more than, a handshake at a fundraiser. So I definitely get his frustration there.
Kevin, I would suspect that from the Democrats' point of view, Sessions is something of a double-edged sword, or, on one hand, you've got the Mueller investigation that many people feel never had to go the way it's going, that you didn't need a special investigator with this. But on the other hand, just today, President Trump, word out of Axios that President Trump is putting off prison reform until after the elections, in large part at the request of Attorney General Sessions.
Which, Charles, you're absolutely right. It was actually a big priority of Senator Grassley, the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, which is why you saw him kind of joining in the ranks with Lindsey Graham, calling for a new attorney general. But it's interesting to see it play out on Capitol Hill in the Senate, where you have some more moderate members like Susan Collins and actually Orrin Hatch and John Cornyn coming to the aid of Jeff Sessions, the attorney general. And you have some of the president's main backers in Chuck Grassley and Lindsey Graham taking the fight to the attorney general. But I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in that White House day. I don't know about you, Charles and Bree, to be in that Oval Office with the president and with his attorney general, given what he said to Fox News earlier this week.
It's always pretty icy when those two are in the same room. From a Democratic point of view, is this something, if Attorney General Sessions is released, particularly, I don't think it would happen before the midterms, but if it happened immediately afterwards, if it happened afterwards, Kevin, would that be political fodder for your party?
Well, it'd be interesting to see it play out because, of course, we have this with the backdrop of the Kavanaugh nomination that's playing out before the Senate Judiciary Committee starting in early September. So that docket is pretty full for that Senate Judiciary Committee. Of course, we don't know how the November elections are going to play out. The Republicans might get more members of the Senate, or it might be get a lot closer and a lot less votes behind a new attorney general. Of course, if he's fired because of purely political reasons, which it seems to be with the recusal, I think that's going to give Democrats and some moderate Republicans pause in the Senate.
Kevin, Bree, thank you both very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.